I was like sick at school. I was like so out of it. I was at UCF and I was studying information technology. I had been on this like academic path my whole life, but I always did music like on the side. I loved music. I was playing bar gigs when I was like 14 or 15 or whatever, and but I was always gonna be like a doctor or something like that, just from a just from a family expectation kind of thing, and so I was really unhappy and really wanted to just go for it. And I went on tour with somebody. I was playing drums, and they had a studio. They were an artist, but they had their own studio, and they recorded people for a living. And the guy made like really good money and had a family and worked out of his house 5 hours a day and spent the rest of the time with his kids. He lives in St. Augustine, so he's right by the beach. And he was like, yeah, you can do that. Like, you just, like, I think what he said is there's an ass for every chair. And I didn't really know what that meant. But for some reason, that just hearing somebody that was successful.
There's an ass for every chair.
Yeah. Take from that what you can. I'm not sure what that means exactly. But he was just somebody that was like outside of the mold of what I thought was possible, telling me that's like, yeah, you just do it. I wanted to go to Berkeley. Like, I wanted to go to music school and have somebody tell me how to do it. And he was like, don't go get 6 figures in debt. Like, learning how to do this. He's like, get some gear off Craigslist, start recording people, start, like, it was, he was saying start. Start something. Yeah. And so I sat on that for a little bit, and Christian, we had worked on some stuff. I went up to his apartment in Tallahassee and like brought my computer and my speakers and my interface, and I had got some stuff on Craigslist with some like leftover scholarship money. I had like started kind of putting some stuff together, and he was like up studying business and like really not happy with like having put music on the side. And so I locked onto that, and I was like, hey, come down to Orlando, come down. And he was like, no, I'm up here and I go to lease and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, come down to Orlando. And it's like, over a couple of weeks. And so we worked on some stuff, and then he was like convinced that he was going to stay, but I was convinced I was going to leave school. And so I was like, if I leave school and start doing music, will you move down to Orlando? And by that time, he was ready to like do something. He was excited about it. And so he like broke his lease, and we took my dad's truck and went up and like loaded his whole apartment up and drove it down to Orlando and loaded him into, there was a room available in the house I was staying in. They needed a roommate, so it was perfect timing. And yeah, we went to Office Depot and got a banner made that said Wholehearted Productions on it. And
you were in business?
we were founded.
How did you get your first client?
Craigslist. I found this guy that was a really talented singer-songwriter, folk singer, and I have no idea why he hired me. But, like,
don't we all feel like that our very first client, right?
Like, what was he thinking? I was like I lived an hour away from him, so it wasn't convenience. And I had some gear off Craigslist, but I was like, look, I just got this, like, I really don't, like, I'm just being upfront with you. So he paid me like $75 a song. So yeah, and then after that, like when Christian, that was before Christian moved in, and when Christian came down, we did like a record for this band called the Johnny Morgan Band.
Morgan?
Yeah, we were like assisting on that record. We were helping somebody with it, and it got released at House of Blues to like 2,000 people, and so we were like, on the
we're
credits.
Real!
Yeah, we're like, woo! Got our Office Depot sign, and now we've done a record release, and we haven't really made any money yet, but whatever, we didn't care. So that was how we got started.